in spite of the global nature of this phenomenon, which, we have seen it. This is about everybody. It's not about one country or the other, one group or the other. We still see state-by-state responses being put in place. And yet, the only way to address this is to do it collectively. If there is a demonstration that the nation system is not adequate enough to respond to global crisis, is coronavirus. So our encouragement is really for more dialogue. At least if global dialogue is difficult, at least on a regional basis, on a region by region basis. So we'll continue to promote that together and behind WHO. And you touched on another important issue. And this is the support that countries like China can provide to countries that are going to be inevitably impacted by the crisis. I have been watching over the weekend the extraordinary images of Chinese experts going to Italy with supplies, with expertise to advise my own country on how to respond. And I do hope that China will continue to exercise this leadership, because it is a form of leadership worldwide, given the hopefully successful response that you have brought to the crisis now. So we do need also solidarity of the better equipped country for the less equipped country that are going to be hit by the crisis in the next few weeks and months. I think that we need to be realistic, much as, of course, it would be good to have a maximum of international cooperation. We know that the system of nations will continue to prevail. We know that. We should be realistic. What I think is important is that the advice of organizations like WHO and, in refugee matters, UNHCR and other organizations in the UN system, that advice is followed, and that those organizations are resourced and equipped adequately so that they can provide that advice, which, by the way, in the case of weaker countries, is very often in the form of material support. That's why WHO has put out a very important funding appeal for about $600 million, which I think will be important to be funded. And the UN as a whole, the humanitarian agencies, are also in the process of seeking resources. These resources is not to make those organizations unnecessarily big, but to make them strong enough to help the weaker states. So we are really looking at the international system to be made stronger in this respect. We will continue to have a state-based system, but we will continue to need the support of expert organizations like ours to make sure that nobody falls behind.